They say fortune favors the bold. So what are you waiting for? The right time? The right sign? The right guide? The thing is, movement maker, you were never meant to follow anyone else. You were destined for something bolder and braver and truer, and you know it. It's time for you to write your own damn permission slip. You have permission to dream big, not that you need it from us. Fortune favors the bold. So, what are you waiting for? Yay! Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Hello. Hilarious.
How are you?
I mean, can we just talk about how I'm so close to getting everything working? We're like, oh, so close.
But that's what's so beautiful about this, honestly. And you'll do it a million times, and then you'll mess up one time, and you'll do it a million times, and that was great.
Well,
Wonderful.
Thank you. It has been true for me all along the way that I'm not afraid to show up and try publicly, and it doesn't bother me when it doesn't quite work out there because you know this about me, but perfection is not the goal. What a relief. What a relief. Well, welcome, Shelby. We're so excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us on the Permission Slip podcast. Let's start. Let's just dive in together. Oh, here's what I want to know. Okay. Yeah. First, tell me about, I know this already, but tell everyone who's listening and watching. Who are you? What do you do? And why are we here today?
Yes, I know that question. I'm always like, how do I answer this? I need so many different things to us, right? Especially as women, I feel like it's very layered. But I am first and foremost a live stream producer. That's how my career has taken off, and it's so fun. It is so fun. I'm not used to being on camera. I'm usually behind the scenes listening to brilliant people talk and making notes and making sure all the things do all the things right. And I'm not used to being the one talking. So it's a little bit different for me. But for the past 4 years, I've been behind the scenes of live streams. Specifically, Coffee with Kim was my first client and my first she got Kim Kalp is my initial client who got the option to go live on LinkedIn. And we were like, okay, let's figure it out. And we joined StreamYard. We got StreamYard and we joined one of their very first calls. Like we were like, it was like from the ground up, like they were still building all of the things back in the beginning of 2020. And it's been so fun because I've been able to grow with StreamYard and then also been able to see the progression of the shows. And then I've slowly had more clients and had more connections. And I don't know, it's that funny thing in life where it just kind of snowballed in the best way. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Your story is like many people's, I think, a story of a needed pivot, like 2020 hit and you're like, okay, how do we continue to pivot? And the LinkedIn Live opened up this new avenue for you. And now that's turned into your thing.
It's my thing, Kelly. I didn't know it was going to be my thing, and it's my thing.
I love that because at some point, just to underline when we talk about the permission to show up live, you as the event producer, I mean, here you are, you're live, you're on camera doing the live, but you had to give yourself permission to step into this space and say, this is a slice of what you were doing before. And how do I hone in and focus on this one particular thing? So I am, as somebody who I've gone live every week for the last 4 years myself in some capacity or another. And I know that it's super important for all of us as entrepreneurs, change makers, people who want to connect more deeply with our audiences. And I just want to say thanks for all of the little bits of help that you've been sending, Erica and I, as we are getting this particular live stream underway.
Mhm.
I'm new to StreamYard. I've been
I
an
know.
eCam person
I know.
for the last many years, and
That's a
StreamYard,
big shift. That's a big
it's a
shift.
it's a big shift, and there's pros and cons,
Yes.
and I would love let's hear from your perspective as somebody who has been deep diving with people
Yeah.
into how to take this art form, this particular way that we can show up and speak and serve our audience. What do you find so valuable about live streaming just in general? Let's start
In general.
there, and then I want to talk about StreamYard in particular because that's your expertise,
Okay.
especially.
Okay. So first of all, I have to say hello to my friend James. I know him because we've been in live stream, like, we're either in the comments or I've joined his and he's just yes. Hi, James. Good to see you.
Yay!
He helps me with my garden. So this is why
Oh,
he's
cool.
thinking
I'm
about
like,
my
interesting. Lemon balm, onions, catnip. I'm like imagining him snacking on
He's
these.
brilliant.
I'm like,
He
what?
is brilliant at his garden, and so anyways, anybody who needs, like, that's not what he does, but we talk a lot
Love
about
it. I
but
love it. Well, welcome, James.
I
We're glad you're
genuinely
here.
I'm glad you're here, James. But genuinely, some of my best friends and my favorite people have come because of live shows. Not even live shows that I'm Shelby on, right? Like it's
Yeah.
that I'm producing or I'm in the comments of, and it's a different way to show up online where you're connecting with people in real time. And we're not doing that enough. And yes, we all do the Zoom
Mm,
thing and we will meet with people sometimes, and that's great, but it's a way to connect with your audience without having to be tied to your phone that I
ooh.
love. Because I noticed when I was posting content, I would post it and then it felt like a chore to go back and respond to the comments. And then sometimes I was like with the kids, so I didn't give the thoughtful response that I wanted to give. And
Mm,
like,
mm,
I love that live streaming is you block off 30 minutes, an hour, and you're connecting with people in real time. You're having conversations and you're creating a depth to your relationship versus a reach, right?
mhm.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of social media is like, let me get in front of all of the eyes of all of the people. Like that's what we're trying to do on
Mhm.
social media. But on live streaming specifically, I love it because it's let's get deeper. Like let's
Yeah.
deepen our relationships, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
all about let's, see how many
Yeah.
eyeballs we can get in front of, which
Yeah.
I think there's enough
Beautiful.
of that. I genuinely think there is enough of it on social media. So
Yeah, there's something special that happens when you gather together. It's sort of like back in the olden days of TV shows, right? When it was like Thursday night must see TV. That's how old I am. Where I was like, oh, there's Friends, and then ER
yeah,
at one point, which is like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, Sally, that was the former century. That's fine. But uh, there was something about what happened when we gathered together and we all experienced it in, like you said, in real time
Mhm.
together rather than everything happening asynchronously. Now,
Yes.
what I think is so cool about a live stream and the role that it can play in your business is yes, there's that initial moment where we're all here together, but
Mhm.
then it also lives on.
Mhm.
So you have the benefit of it being a consistent piece of content in your business that lives, that central pillar piece of content each week that people can consume in all kinds of different ways. But we also have this first kickoff live experience where people can show up and respond and ask questions and really be with us in the moment. So
And
love
I
it.
don't know about
Beautiful.
you, but when I'm doing a video, like I'm recording the video to post the video,
Yeah.
I overthink it so much. I re-record,
Yeah.
I'm
Ooh.
like, "Oh, that was a weird thing I said. I'm gonna do this again." But when you're live, like you're
Yeah.
live. You just gotta be
Oh,
you. And then later on you watch it back because 'cause you're like, "Oh my gosh, I said something so cringy." And you watch it back and you're like, "Oh, that
yeah.
wasn't that bad. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good."
Beautiful.
And it
I
takes
call it
that overthinking out of
yeah.
producing content, I think. So,
Well, no matter what, I mean, I was like, we're going live at 11:30 Central Time. So I'm like rushing in and just got my hair done
It's
as you can
beautiful.
tell.
I love
Thank you. Thank you.
it.
The curls are really strong right now. There's no retakes, as James just
Yes.
said. Absolutely. I was like, we're showing up, we're pressing go, and we're doing it. And
Mhm.
I call it the power of hashtag show up anyway. It's like
Yes. I love
happening.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. And I think you're right. The pressure sometimes of the, even having the opportunity to do it again, to re-record tends to play with our heads a little bit. And
Mhm.
this way it's we show up real, we show up as we are, not that we don't show up with a plan or we aren't
Right.
intentional or polished about it, but our goal is truly to show up and be in the moment and allow for whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I think there's magic to that.
Mhm.
Don't you
And
agree?
and I love that you can't because I've been behind live streams where people have said
Yeah.
things that they were like, "Oh, no, I shouldn't have said that," or whatever, and I love seeing people in real time in those situations, and sometimes it feels embarrassing for them, maybe, but for me, it's
Yeah.
always like, "Oh, there's the human," like, that's the
Yeah.
human, like, we have so much
Yeah.
content online that's perfect and polished and edited and the emojis and the fun things and all of the things,
Mm,
but when you
mm,
get somebody like, "Oh, whoops, shouldn't have said that," or like, "Oh,
yeah.
my internet froze," and, "Oh, man," like, all of those
Yep.
imperfections, I don't know,
Mhm.
I just think
Mhm.
it's a fun way to see people online, so
Yeah. Yeah, real.
mhm,
Real, authentic. I think we are craving that as a people, especially the more that AI plays a
yeah,
role in our businesses and all kinds of great things with that.
and in content
And
creation, big time.
yeah, but how do we maintain that level of real humanness? I was like,
Right,
live stream plays a particular role in that. I think that's very cool. Okay.
and yep.
No,
Can I
you
say
go.
one
You
thing?
go.
Can I say one
Yes,
thing quick?
please.
Because
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this idea because I think people who are really good at what they do, they're not good at social media. Most people who are
Mm,
really, really good at maybe it's like consulting or it's I don't know what it is that you're really good at, you're really passionate about, you're probably not spending time learning the trends and doing the things, right? So then they go,
mhm,
okay, I'm going to hire a social media team because I'm not promoting myself well. So they hire a social media team, but the social media team doesn't have your expertise. So they
mm,
can only make content guessing at what you know. But when
yeah,
you get
yeah,
both, when you marry both and you have a live stream where you're the one speaking the goodness, but then
yeah.
you have the team learning from you, then that team can take that content that you've shared in the live
Mm,
stream, produce other content that's actually your voice, actually the things that you've taught, and make it look nice and pretty and all of the things. They still have a place, but they can use that, your voice, your style to make it make more sense. You know what I mean?
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so, uh, here's what I would love to hear from you now as somebody who is a recent I wouldn't say quite I'm not quite a convert yet to live stream or StreamYard. I'm using
Right.
it. I'm using it, I'm figuring it out. I've come from the world of eCam and I've loved eCam for lots of ways, but it was keeping us from as a team, as a permission slip team, producing this in an efficient and effective way. And so just that alone was like, okay, we're shifting over to StreamYard. So I'm curious from your perspective, what are the benefits in particular to StreamYard that you're noticing and seeing? And you feel free to use this as an opportunity to kind of even show me
Okay.
what I
Totally.
could be doing. Like I can play with stuff. We can make it happen.
I can touch the buttons. Is that what you're saying? I can touch the
Yeah.
buttons.
Yes,
Okay.
you touch the buttons. See what happens. I can't wait.
Okay, so first and foremost, like love this overlay that y'all have created, this whole situation. So
Thank you.
I love, so I always tell my clients that we need three overlays. We need one for when we schedule the broadcast, and when we
Okay.
start the broadcast. Because if you'll notice, when you go back on your stream on your LinkedIn, instead of seeing the really cute thumbnail that your team has made that you
Yeah.
scheduled the broadcast with, it
Yeah.
usually will show the countdown video. So you're not getting
Ah.
that cute thumbnail. But if you put that thumbnail in your overlays, you start your broadcast, make sure all of your places are connected properly. Then
Okay.
you start your intro your intro video. And what shows up on your LinkedIn and other places is going to be your cute thumbnail, which we all want the cute thumbnail to live on, right?
Cute
So,
thumbnail for
yeah,
the start. Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So you have your
I do have
intro.
a cute thumbnail. I do
I
have a
know,
cute thumbnail.
I saw your cute thumbnail. And then 2, you've got this cool, like, situation here where you're either promoting your guest, promoting yourself, promoting a conference, whatever it is. You got this situation while y'all are talking where you have a
Yeah.
QR code, you have information, whatever. And then at the end, you should have some sort of ending overlay. So again, think
Okay.
cute thumbnail, but saying like, oh, if you want to talk to Sally, scan the QR code, or like if you're interested in going to the permission slip conference, here's the landing page. That's our
Okay.
the ending overlay, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then okay, you're playing. You're
So
doing
how about this? Like, so this
yes,
beautiful right here.
yes. That would
Oh,
before
oh,
you
oh,
hit, you're good.
okay.
I'm gonna play. Oh,
Okay.
you got it? Okay. But that's
Sally's
what you would
touching
put.
buttons.
But as you could see, we're not muted. So you put
Yeah.
that on, you start your
Okay.
stream, then you
Okay.
do one of these is while you're
Yeah.
talking or
Okay.
whatever, or
Yeah.
one of these is. And
Yeah.
then at the end, it's something similar to this, but not
Okay.
this. Something that
Okay.
says like, you know, and then
Thank
you
you
end the
for blah, blah,
stream.
blah.
Right. So it's a lot more like you can control it because it you're not having to worry about starting the videos at the right time because when you don't, it's just this, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
it's fine if that's what they see, right? And then at the end, say, I hope this never happens to you, Sally, but say something goes wrong and your
Yeah.
internet fails or the guest internet fails, you have an ending one that you can put on when you're like, oh crap, like this isn't going anywhere. We're done. You put the ending one on, you end the stream, and everybody goes, oh, I
Oh,
must have missed it, whatever. Instead of seeing like a frozen face or like,
yeah.
some
Yes.
weirdness at
Oh
the
my
end.
gosh. Okay.
So that's what
Okay.
I love most about StreamYard.
Okay.
Let me see. I started doing an intro video, James said. I started doing an intro video because of Coffee with Kim. Love that. Yes.
Oh, very
So,
cool.
and
Okay.
I love your intro video is so
Okay.
good. I love
Thank
that
you.
permission slip conference thing. So anyways, that's my
Wonderful.
favorite thing about StreamYard because there's a way to make it look professional and you can kind of save yourself if anything goes wrong.
Beautiful. And things go wrong, right? James
Yes.
just said, that's happened to me. I lost the internet. Things go
Yes.
wrong. It's I
100%.
to me, part of it being a live stream is we are opening ourselves up to the potential of real
Mhm,
life happening. I
mhm.
love that. I find that way more interesting
Yeah.
and fun and exciting than your perfected, overly edited
Yes.
podcast where you're like, we know they went through and took out right now with AI with a click of a button, you can take
Oh, it's
out
so easy. All the,
all the
yeah,
yep, which
and I
is
really
great.
think that it is great in the right setting, right? Because say that's like, I don't know, say you're Google and you're going to post something, like, you don't wanna have something that's awkward and weird, right? But
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
personal brand, as an entrepreneur, I think that this is the easiest way to produce content consistently because you're gonna show up
Mhm.
anyway. You're gonna show up every
Mhm.
time that you have this thing scheduled. And then
Mhm.
you're also not gonna edit it. You're not gonna overthink it.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
automatically post whether you want it to or not. You got
Yep.
content out there today, Sally.
Yep.
I got content out there today because it did the thing, you know?
Yes. Yes, yes,
So,
yes. Okay. So
yeah.
you just explained a beautiful benefit to StreamYard in particular. I pointed out that StreamYard allows team members on the back end
Yes. Huge.
to duplicate and produce this. And you as a guest, like you have access to the back end of what's happening here in the studio as well, which I think is really cool. So it's not just me doing this. So when Erica is here with me. Sometimes we do this
Mhm.
together and there's 3 of us in the studio or 4 of us. It's not just me who's producing the event. I happen to have a StreamYard expert here who can do her thing too, which is really, really cool. Okay. So I know this is all sounding like a StreamYard ad. I have no, uh, you know,
No.
links for you on StreamYard,
We're
people,
just
but
trying streamer. Yes, yes.
yeah, we're just talking StreamYard. Uh, so, from your perspective as a producer, a StreamYard pro, can I call you a StreamYard pro?
Nobody's ever
Is
called me
that a
that, but
thing?
go for it.
Is
Yeah,
that a
I
thing?
I don't know.
Do you have a link for StreamYard?
Yes, I do. I do. And I can share it if you would like it. Anybody, please reach out. I do have a link for StreamYard.
I
But
think you
I
should.
will tell you the reason I love StreamYard is because I've been on literally 2 weeks ago, I was on a podcast. We had 250 people RSVP. We went live and it didn't connect. And I was panicking. But my host, amazing, on screen, cool, calm as a cucumber, right? We realized, okay, it didn't connect properly. I'm like, StreamYard team, help me. And immediate response, they're helping me. We're figuring it out. I got 180 of those moved to the correct other stream. And I
Wow.
was
Okay.
like, you know what? I'm counting that as a win. Like, not
Yeah.
everybody made it over, but that's a huge
Yeah.
chunk of people that made it over. And I was like, okay, happy, great, wonderful. Again, why I
Beautiful.
recommend having somebody producing the show behind the scenes that's not you, so that
Mm,
I could be the one that's like, oh crap, like blah, 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 with the StreamYard team, with the LinkedIn comments, like all of the things.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our host just cool, calm, and collected, totally fine. And
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. I am playing multiple roles.
yes.
But
Oh,
that's what I'm used to. That's what I've
right.
done for my whole live streaming life. Uh, but
Yes.
wow, what a dream to just
Yeah.
show up and focus on being host and
Mhm.
guest and not worry about all the pressing all the buttons. Okay,
Yes.
James just brought up a really important point. James, you're basically the 3 of us are hosting this thing. It's so fun that you're
Thanks,
here.
Shane.
It's so awesome. He says, download the audio file from StreamYard and start a Spotify account too. In other words,
Podcast.
very, very simply, you can turn this into a podcast, which is, we call this a podcast. Really, it's a live stream show. But we're building a library of audio files
It's awesome.
that, yeah, that we can turn and use in lots of other ways. Okay. Would you please Shelby, talk to us about one of the things that you shared with us that I think is very cool about StreamYard, the ways in which you can take the recording of what you've done and really easily turn it into other
Mhm.
kinds of content too.
Yes, so easy. So you end the stream, and just like how James is saying, you can download an audio or you can download an MP4. So you have 20 minutes of MP4, meaning video content, and
Yep.
20 minutes of audio content. And
Okay.
then what I love most about StreamYard is they have an option for shorts and reels, meaning when you go into past broadcasts, you say, I want to edit this as a short or reel, and it gives you like this cute little 1 minute snippet thing where you're not
Yeah.
having to guess what a minute looks like and how to do it.
Yeah.
And you just
Yeah.
slide it along. And this is kind of a newer thing about StreamYard. They have a transcript so you can see exact words. So you're not guessing.
Ooh.
Before I used to have to like zoom in and like make sure the
Yeah.
audio file, like the like little
Yes.
wave things wasn't cut off, right? But now
Yes.
they
Yes.
have a transcript where it's like, okay, I want that word to end after that. I want
Oh
that
my
video
gosh.
to end after that or whatever. So it's
Amazing.
so
Amazing.
easy to repurpose.
Okay, I am assuming, Shelby, that as part of your LinkedIn Live course, oh my gosh, that we hear a little bit more about this. So tell us about
Yes.
your LinkedIn Live, what's happening there, because I'm so excited for you. Really cool.
Thank you. I was so excited. I got the opportunity. I flew out to California to record with the LinkedIn team, and I got to sit there and explain how I use StreamYard. I explained the overlay thing. I explained mistakes that I've made, like what I've done
Mhm.
when the power's gone out and like how you can navigate through those big, like, yikes moments of live streaming,
Mm,
and
mm,
I explain, like, how to set up the account, how I schedule shows, how I share shows, and my favorite thing that I include is email templates for your guests. Because as you know,
mm,
Sally, when you have guests on a show, it creates a whole other element of stress and organization.
mm.
So I talk a little bit about that too in the course. So it's
Yeah.
all of the goodness and all of the lessons learned. And honestly, I'm so impressed with the LinkedIn Learning team. They did such a good job editing it.
Mm,
And yeah, it's about an hour long. And I promise you, it's worth it. It's worth it to just know how to do the
yeah.
things on the
Yeah.
things.
Um, I have to admit that I grabbed the course and then just like what happens to so many of us, I was like, I will get to that later.
Yes.
40 tabs later,
Yes.
open on my thing. My husband this
I
morning said to
block
me,
off an hour on Fridays for the learning, for the things,
beautiful. Oh,
because
I love
I'm
that.
in the same way. Anyway, your husband, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. He was like, Sally, if there was an epitaph or something for you, it would be I start things and that's pretty much it.
And that doesn't finish the sentence
Yeah.
because we just
Yeah.
start things.
I just start that. I'm really good at starting things.
Yeah,
I
but hey,
started
there
your
needs
course.
to be somebody who's really good at starting things, and then there's usually somebody who's like, "Hey, remember how you started that thing? Can you finish that
Yeah.
thing?" And I think we
Yeah.
usually marry each other and,
Yes.
it's like
Yes. That is very true for the 2 of us,
yeah,
and it's also true in my business. I'm
yes,
like, "Oh,
right?
hello, Ashley, project manager. Thank you for
Exactly, because
helping me
she's gonna be the
finish."
person who's like, "Remember how you're supposed to finish that thing?" And you're like, "Yeah, I
Yes.
do,
"Have
Ashley,"
you
and I don't
finished
yeah.
that? Have
Oh,
you
and
finished
I
that?"
call myself a professional squeaky wheel because I'm like, "Remember you were supposed to do the thing and you didn't do the thing. Now I can't do my thing because you didn't do your thing." And you're like, "Yeah."
Oh, okay, well, this QR code right here has Shelby's course so that you can grab it. You can start it and finish it. Yeah.
Or you know
We're
what,
not
Sally? I really did because 'cause I'm you. I made it so it's like you can go like, "Okay, this is my problem." And LinkedIn probably doesn't want
mm.
me to tell you this, but it'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is my problem and this is like overlays. How to start my stream smoothly." I have a little chapter. It's a 2-minute video. You watch the 2-minute video. I won't tell LinkedIn that you didn't watch the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. In other
Yeah.
words, you don't have to take an hour to get what
Yeah.
you need from it.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, I
I
love
made
that.
it on purpose for people like us because I am you.
Okay. Hilariously, I just took a picture of my own QR code that I made for you so that
So you
I
can
can
get to the
start it
point.
again.
I love it. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
I'm gonna start it again, and here's what's so great how it's out there. It's available. So if you're watching this on replay, if you
Yes.
have, it's not. i- Is there a time limit on this? Let me just say that.
No, no, there
Okay,
isn't, and I
fantastic.
whoever's watching,
Yeah.
no, you can send me a DM. I'm in the process of getting some free codes for LinkedIn Learning, all of LinkedIn
Ooh.
Learning. So not only my course, but I'm getting a couple codes that I can share with you to access LinkedIn Learning for free. So if you're somebody who's like, I want to do this, but I don't have however much, I think it's like $30. So, but I get
Okay.
it. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
message me because I will give you the goods.
Well, okay. That's so wonderful. Well, Shelby, it has been really fun to have you on the show. I want to say thank you again for your generosity. And as you've been watching us do this, you've been really kindly just giving us a little nudge. Try this. Don't forget that. Give this a go. Uh, out of the generosity of your heart, and
No,
I really appreciate it. I know
right.
you work with a handful of our very good friends here at Permission
Mhm.
Slip,
Who
and
I've met
and
because live streaming is the cool thing, Sally. Yeah,
I know, right? You've
yeah.
met through and with each other. You were there with us at Permission
Mhm.
Slip last December, which is wonderful to have you there. And we're fans. We're Shelby fans. Thanks for all the support that you offer, not
And
just us, but everybody.
of course, and I just have to say the
Wonderful.
community that you've created and are continuing to create is so valuable, so huge.
Oh,
I'm a part of LaShonda's. YouTube membership, and she doesn't know it, but I'm her like best friend, YouTube friend, because she's like saving my life. Like I'm like, I love her. I love her content. I would not know her without you, without the conference, and the community just it's been so helpful for me professionally.
Oh,
Like
good.
it's amazing, and I appreciate you because I
Amazing.
know there's a lot of work
Shout
that goes
out.
into all of this.
Well, we love it. We are here for the community. That piece is so, so important to us. So I'm really love hearing about the stories of how relationships and connections and business ideas and new ventures get kicked off because of community when we show up for each other in community. So I love hearing that. Congrats on everything that's going on, Shelby. We are cheering you on here at Permission Slip. And one more baby thing before I let you go. I'm over by a few minutes, but we end the show by hearing about what your next big permission slip is that you're going to give yourself. What's the next thing that you're going to
I
give
was
yourself permission to do? Big or
I was
little?
thinking about this. I was thinking about this because I was like, she's gonna ask me because I've watched live
Yeah.
streams, your live streams.
Yeah.
I think permission, and this started at the conference, permission to take myself more seriously. Because I've always been the secondary income in our home. I've always been, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like at family
Yeah.
things, they'll be like, Shelby, what do you do? I'm like, I'm pretty much a podcast producer, like whatever. Permission to talk about my work differently, permission
Yeah.
to take myself more seriously, and to show up and have these conversations. Because I
Okay.
love what I'm doing, and I am doing a good job of it. Thank you.
And I have to stand up and dance every time somebody talks about their next big permission slip.
Yeah.
You deserve that. You are an expert at what you do. And I want you to hold that authority piece for yourself and know that it's incredibly valuable. And LinkedIn recognized it and said, okay, Shelby, come be one of our core teachers here to teach
Very
this.
cool. It was very cool.
So sometimes, like, hopefully it doesn't take for somebody else to recognize our authority before we start to believe it. But sometimes we got to take those cues.
Yeah.
And be like,
No, it
okay.
was kind of a slap in the face because I was like, no, you're right. I know StreamYard. I love StreamYard. I'm good at StreamYard and I can help people. And it's been a good thing. A good switch in my brain that's happened. Started at LinkedIn, continued at the Permission Slip conference. And this year, 2024, I'm talking about my business and myself differently. And it's because of you. Thank you.
Major high fives.
High
I'm so
five.
excited for you. It's huge. That's huge. We are cheering you on. Shelby, you're doing amazing work. And thank you again for joining us here. Yay. All right, everybody. We will see you next week for our Permission Slip podcast live. Everybody have an awesome rest of your day. We'll see you soon. This is where we go to an over. Bye, everybody. Yay.